No. Hi, this is Jared Batanga doing my year end reflection for EGR 402. Uh, first off, how did your initial research influence your final design? Um, Basically, we just looked at past projects that we did, so if we learned in class, such as Spring, some of the web development projects we did with in 424, and that kind of helped us figure out what we were gonna do, but we also had to decide what type of technology we wanted to use as well. So we, but that came in the later half, in the second semester, or like the initial start of the second semester, where we were trying to figure out what type of framework we're gonna use, etc. Um, what is something we did this year that you think you'll remember for the rest of your life? I think that being tossed into a waterfall development and then trying to adjust to that with all the different problems was something I'll remember because it took a lot of effort to adjust and uh, basically just work with it, kind of like just power through and just continue with our design. Um, Along with like some of our design flaws as well that we kind of just had to push through because we had deliverables that were due and we had to follow a schedule. So I thought that that was a really good learning experience to have. So I think I'll remember that for the rest of my life because it's something I've never dealt with, and I think it will go it will transfer into when I start working, um, and hopefully give me experience in the workforce. What is something you accomplished this year that you're proud of? I'm proud of making some hard decisions for the team, such as the initial design. I had to initially we didn't really know what type of technology we wanted to use, such as Spring versus like the servlets. I was able to take initiative and decide that we were going to use the servlets. I did a little more. I did extra research to figure it out because we started a little late on it because we didn't know what we wanted to do. So I took the initiative to um, choose a framework or research a little more on the framework and then choose one. That doesn't go to say like um, um, because I'm not going to say that like no one else was looking for it. It's just like it was hard for us to like figure out what we were doing because some of us didn't know exactly what approach to take. So um, I wanted to help out the team by making um, or giving them an option and then discussing it, and everyone happened to agree with it, and it just worked out. So I think that was a pretty good big accomplishment. What was the most challenging part of this year for you? I think it is. I think the hardest part was working with um, different team members. I thought my group was great. However, there was some mishaps within our group. You know, we had some team conflict, and that really affected us because we didn't want to communicate with a certain team member, and because of the not toxicity toxicity of it, but it just caused a lot of conflict, and it made it hard to get on the same page because of it. So I thought that was really challenging. If you could change one thing that happened this year, what would it be? I would definitely change um, the first semester. I would definitely change the approach we had in the first semester instead of just designing it on paper and just documenting a bunch of stuff. I would much rather have designed a prototype the first semester. That way, going into the second semester, we can actually start implementing a lot of things while we have like the wireframe, like basically the wireframe of the entire project developed in the first semester. What are three most important things you learned this year? Um, One of them being the first thing being communication. Communication is extremely important. Second is documenting. Um, because it's a freelance project and we're kind of doing whatever we want. Documenting is like very important to do because when you're sharing with other people, like if they don't know what they're doing, then we're kind of like they're lost and like only you know, and then they have to go to you, and it becomes like very redundant. It's kind of ridiculous. Um, a third thing, a third thing I learned was teamwork. Teamwork is definitely something you have to learn to do with other people, and distributing like the different parts of the project to other people to get it done. And that goes hand in hand with communication. Like the whole team has to talk with each other consistently, share what's going on with which. That way, we're not waiting on each other for their code to work. But I believe next time we want to be able to like uh, start implementing our own parts of the project ourselves without having to wait for other people, because that really sets us back as well. So I think that teamwork is definitely a huge part of something that I learned that is really crucial in these group projects. In what area do you feel you made your biggest improvements? I think I made my biggest improvements in just being a better team member. Um, I I think I don't work that well in teams. It's kind of difficult for me. Not the social aspect, such as like communication and just talking with each other, and communicating what we're doing. I think my biggest part was just developing code and then sharing with others, because I'm working with other people's stuff, and they're waiting on me or I'm waiting on them, and it's kind of it was kind of difficult at first, but once I got the hang of it, for like 2 semesters, it became more natural to me. Now I have no problem sharing code, helping other people out with it, and just being a better team member overall. Uh, Sharing code wise and helping other people with their implementation and stuff like that. What advice would you give students who will be in this class next year? Start early. Definitely, that is the most. I would say that procrastinating, not getting stuff done earlier, is makes the entire class much more difficult, because when it's getting crunch time, you start working on things that shouldn't be worked on. That should be done last week or something like that. So you don't want to get behind. You just want to like stay on top of things. That way they don't pile up. You're not stressed at the end of the semester. Nobody's fighting. There's no like conflict within the team because stuff isn't getting done. So I think that starting early is definitely the way to go, and it's probably the best option. So thank you. See you later, CBU. Thank you, Professor Clement, and hope that everything I've learned I can apply to any job that I happen to get. Bye bye.